It's Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you may Skype in as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
Of course, you can bring up anything you want. We are going to get back into this terms of service issue, where apparently the Supreme Court has upheld an interpretation of some law from the 1980s that makes it illegal to violate terms of service. You know, that really long legalese thing that you've probably never read every time you've ever installed software or gone to a website. We'll get back into that coming up here. But John in New York had a question about some supposedly libertarian guy. I've heard his name before, Hans Hermann Hoppe. I guess he's, somewhat well known. And so apparently he's like an alt-righter, more so than a libertarian. He's some sort of fascist-sounding, dictator guy. And we'll get into that as well. By the way, I do want to let you know about pool.bitcoin.com. If you want to get into Bitcoin mining, this is probably the easiest way to do it. You get into pool.bitcoin.com. Mark and I both are active over there. There's a 100% uptime guarantee, and it makes it easy to put an investment in. You can use their calculator to figure out what your payouts should be. Of course, you never know exactly what's going to happen in the future, but if you want to get into it and learn about it, then you can do that over at pool.bitcoin.com. You don't actually have to do the hard work of constant equipment upgrades, the ongoing maintenance. If the servers could break. If you don't know how to handle the technical side of things, this is perfect for you. Pool.bitcoin.com. As we go back to John in New York, John, you'd called about this Hans Hermann Hoppe. There's apparently some libertarian drama between certain people with, I guess, visible people, celebritarians, for lack of a better term, within the libertarian movement. They're fighting over this Hoppe guy who is apparently calling for a total police state crackdown on immigration as well as just police state in general.
Right, and the odd thing is he's not claiming it's a police state. He says, well, all of that vacant land out west, everybody in the United States owns that, so therefore, as part owner, I get to say that somebody can't trespass on that property that I am 130 millionth owner of. Doesn't matter that you're also one 330 millionth owner of.
Yeah.
You don't get to invite somebody onto that land because I get to say they're trespassing.
It's an insane collectivist argument, which basically, if you use that same logic, you can justify anything as long as it says, well, there's this external problem, so therefore, since we all have to pay taxes, I mean, the same logic destroys every other.
Right. It's basically because we don't have a libertarian society, therefore, socialism and fascism until we get to libertarianism.
It's crazy.
Well, one of his specific claims is that, and it's pretty much racist, or if not, borderline saying, well, we got to only allow people in who are going to be productive. And he even says in this speech, most likely it's going to be white guys. Not exclusively.
That sounds pretty racist.
But most likely it's going to be white guys. And it's like on top of that. Oh, it's insane. It's on top of that. The thing that I just think is just such a weird argument is to claim that, well, they're going to come in and they're going to be likely to vote for more socialism, as if the United States right now is already some amazing free place. It's better than a lot of places, but this ship sailed 200 years ago.
We're going to stop these people from coming in and voting socialist by creating a complete fascist dictatorship.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, yes.
Yeah. But you probably recall, a part of the reason that I wanted to call and talk to you about is because I kind of felt this split, maybe some cracks for this split when Jeffrey Tucker wrote an article called "Against Libertarian Brutalism."
That was a long time ago, right? That was like several years ago.
3 years ago. And at the time, Christopher Cantwell came out and was like, "Wow, that's a load of crap." And the only thing, you only need to follow the non-aggression principle to be a libertarian. You can be the most racist person, which he's technically correct on that.
He is correct about that, which is why the non-aggression principle doesn't go far enough for being a good person. It's just a basic level of don't hit somebody.
Well, and then there's also, what I would consider to be flawed interpretations of, well, 8-year-old girl accidentally steps on your tulips, shoot her in the face. Non-aggression principle.
Yeah, so I think that was, to me, when I read that article, that was the point that I saw that Jeffrey Tucker was making, saying, look, yeah, sure, we can have our principles, but we also, if the concept is we want more people to say, hey, take a look at this, you want it to be like, hey, here's the reasons why, beyond just the bare bone principles, it's actually going to help you out. It's going to make life better for even people who aren't doing so well right now. And it's not, you go fast forward 3 years, back then, as Christopher Cantwell called himself the principled Rothbardian or whatever, fast forward 3 years, and he's standing outside holding up, a torch outside of a, Confederate statue. So
sure.
It's like, where's the, if people are going to, and the reason you guys have such a pretty good listenership for, of a wide variety of people, I see a lot of conservatives who might be like, oh, well, I like this idea of a closed border. And I just want to say the idea that you're going to be able to increase the state power and then roll it back once they do what you want has never worked, and it never will, and
right
it's
on.
just an absolutely stupid idea.
Yeah,
Great points,
what's
John.
the saying, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program?
Yeah.
You nailed it, John. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Yeah, I mean, even within New Hampshire, where we're doing this show from, you can definitely see within the so-called liberty movement here that there are people who are pretty good on a lot of issues, but they are xenophobic. And that that if it were to actually come to where we have the success level that we want, which is to say that New Hampshire truly becomes like this libertarian state where the government is being rolled back and government programs being ended, and we're letting the market take care of things. One thing that people are going to split on within the liberty movement is borders. Because if it comes to where New Hampshire, let's say, goes all the way and secedes from the United States, there's going to be a very distinct schism within the movement before that even happens over the question of what to do with the borders. I guarantee
we should definitely wind up putting signs warning people that they're about to enter Massachusetts. Which there actually was a proposal several years ago to allow for that.
You got to be careful, man. If you're in New Hampshire toting a gun around and then you accidentally step into Massachusetts, you get pulled over by a cop, you're looking at felony charges. So
now,
that would be a good idea.
Just for the purpose of a joke, I would support building a 700-foot ice wall on the Massachusetts border just so that we could call ourselves the free folk north of the wall.
That's cute.
Any Game of Thrones fans definitely get that reference.
Okay.
Everybody else, sorry.
Yeah. The idea of an ice wall is cool, though, because it goes away, right? Like it's only temporary.
Well, it goes away with ice dragons.
No, it goes away with when it gets warm.
Oh, you've not watched the show?
No, I have not.
An ice dragon melts down part of the wall.
But if you actually did have a wall, it would not last beyond, March or April. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. 855-450-3733. We can talk about libertarians and borders and how, you're really not a libertarian if you want to have closed national borders. This is Free Talk Live.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to instafire.com and use discount code RADIO30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agoristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agoristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agoristhosting.com. Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free to join us on the radio. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can get signed up for the Free Talk Live email list. You'll get a newsletter about once a week. When you do that, you can go and get signed up via the email sign-up box right there at freetalklive.com, right in the middle of the front toward the top of the page. Once again, that's freetalklive.com. You'll find the email box. Sign up there. As we continue with you tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
So coming up, we'll talk more about independence and this ridiculous story that you started the show out tonight with, Chris, about the terms of service, that apparently if you violate these things, you could go to jail. We'll tell you more about that. But I wanted to continue a little bit on this subject of so-called libertarians and their opinions that, well, yeah, we really want liberty, but you know, while we've got a big old state around and there's people who want to come here and vote from somewhere else and take welfare, well, we're just going to need to have a total police state to, you know, put a stop to that while we repeal the state from the inside, supposedly.
There was one of the speakers at Anarchapulco last year that was saying that.
Wow. I don't know who that was. There's a bunch of speakers there.
Well, she's a pretty Canadian girl, so she can wind up saying whatever she wants to.
Southern? Is that her name? Southern.
And then she decided not too long ago to go harass refugees in the Mediterranean that were fleeing American bombs.
She actually physically went there?
She was on one of the boats that was trying to prevent refugee boats from going to Italy.
Wow, that's crazy. And she calls herself a libertarian?
Yes.
Yes.
Where do these people come from?
Well, she comes from Canada.
Yeah, the right wing.
Yeah,
basically. it's been a long time infiltration of the liberty movement.
Right, and there's this myth that libertarians are the natural allies of conservatives, so we should just go along with whatever conservatives want because Reagan.
So, look, libertarians come from all over the place. And you're right, it is a very common myth that libertarians are somehow more allied with conservatives. And I understand why people get that idea because, well, the Libertarian Party recently has, in the last basically decade, has nominated two men who are former Republicans, Bob Barr in 2008, Gary Johnson in 2016 and 2012, for their presidential ticket, which, of course, is of all the times of the year or over the years, is the most visible when libertarians are in the media. Like the presidential election is when people hear the word libertarian, I would say more likely.
Right, but even before Bob Barr wound up getting the nomination, I heard people saying that libertarians and conservatives are natural allies. Yeah. And so the nomination of Barr, Root, Johnson, Gray, and Weld was more a symptom of that underlying problem of people saying that libertarians and conservatives are allies.
Yeah, and it's not to say that there aren't people from the left who are involved in the liberty movement. I mean, certainly,
right, and certainly there are things where we agree with conservatives on. There are also major things where we disagree with conservatives. Foreign policy, the drug war, borders, me being able to do with my body what I want as long as I'm not harming somebody else.
Yeah. But
they'll let me keep most of my money.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two, I think, is what happens. It's the whole what is it? Conservative, fiscally conservative.
Well, there's
socially liberal.
Right. So there's that myth that needs to die in a fire. And then, because of that, and that, we need to reach out to the right sort of thing.
Yeah, you could say the same thing, though. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think you could kind of say the same thing for both. You can make the same statement for both sides. It's just depending on the issue.
Yeah,
well,
I think you can.
The flawed myth of we're fiscally conservative, socially liberal. Certainly, our economic policies tend to align more with conservatives, but we actually have a reason why we believe what we believe. And when you start throwing out, well, see, we're just a mix of conservative and liberal, it makes it sound like libertarians are centrist, and we're not centrist.
Or that we're cherry picking or something like that. And the reality is libertarianism is based on the principle of non-aggression, which says that you should not use aggression or aggressive force to achieve your political or social goals. That's kind of the mantra of the Libertarian Party. But what you have happening, and it's not uncommon within politics, is when there's a political movement, it by sort of default has to be open to the public. They have to allow anybody to, for the most part, to join.
Right.
And ultimately, that means that you are subject to infiltration and you're subject to hostile takeover. And that's just a reality. And if anything, it seems as though the conservatives have been more successful at that within the Libertarian Party. And because they have been more successful at that, again, like I said, it's not to say there's even a group calling themselves Libertarian Socialists. So there's definitely, left wing that has come into the Libertarian movement as well. But the conservatives seem to have done a more effective job at a takeover attempt on the Libertarian Party, so much to the point that they've gotten former Republicans nominated for the presidential. And you're right, it's been happening since before Bob Barr, which is how it got to the point of Bob Barr being possible, because I don't think Bob Barr would have gotten the nomination 10 years before that when they nominated somebody far more principled like Harry Brown, for instance.
Well, and the second ever presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party was a former Republican. Roger McBride was the elector that voted for John Hospers in 1972. He was the Republican elector that defected to cast that vote for the Libertarian.
But was he a Libertarian?
In 1976, he was a member of the Libertarian Party. He was a lot more.
Was he a Libertarian?
He was a lot more, small L Libertarian philosophically.
Small L meaning he was principled. Is what you're saying? Okay. as opposed to big L, which this gets confusing, right, for people.
Right,
Big
so
L
big
means
L
a member
means
of the
you're
party.
a member of the party, and
Right.
some people just think big L means you believe in the principle, and small L means I don't know what the hell they think it means.
Yeah, which is why it needs to be explained when somebody references it. So I think that's why. It's just because for whatever reason, they were more effective at taking over the Libertarian Party. Now they haven't completely taken it over.
Yeah,
there's still people who are fighting them.
It seems a little bit misleading to say they've taken it over. They haven't taken it over, but they certainly have.
They have enough voting influence to put their guy in as the presidential candidate. I call that taking over.
Okay.
Now, maybe they haven't completely taken over. You still have people like Arvin Vohra, who is the vice chairman.
We're talking about the national level here?
Yeah, the national
okay.
level.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I agree with you at the national
Libertarian
level.
Party of New Hampshire has not been taken over.
Yeah.
Darryl's running that. So, I mean, Darryl and Roger, who are two of the most principled libertarians you could possibly find, are running the New Hampshire Libertarian Party. That's why I'm a member of that party, because they're principled and they stick to their principles. I resigned my life membership from the National Party back in 2008 before they nominated Bob Barr because I was sick of how unprincipled the party had become. And it's sad. It's sad to see happen, but that's just the reality.
Yeah.
What can you do about it?
I always refer to myself as a principled libertarian because I don't want to be associated with the national party.
I don't blame people like Darryl for spending inordinate amounts of time trying to actually save the National Libertarian Party. I understand why they value it because it is, that first gateway into libertarianism for a lot of people. And there's some value in the fact that they exist, and there's some value in that even if they aren't completely principled, that they might possibly be that gateway drug into
and
liberty.
If the National Party went away, and this is something that a lot of people don't understand, if the National Party went away, I guarantee you about 3/4 of the state libertarian affiliates would just cease to exist.
Who cares?
Because, well,
yeah, I'm kind
of.
If they depend on the National Libertarian Party for their existence,
well, it's not necessarily that they depend on, but when you look at other political parties where the national organization ceased to exist, the state leaderships decided, well, why do we even need to be a thing if there's no organization for us to be a part of to work with other state affiliates?
The danger is they're going to end up coming here. That's my fear.
Who?
Libertarians from other, or so-called libertarians from other states.
Well, I don't think that's that much of a danger. I mean,
I've seen there's people coming here.
More coming up here in moments. 855 450 free like freedom. You can join us here. It's Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which founding fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the founding fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
This is the Onion News Network.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the frustrations that many of us in the libertarian movement have had with the National Libertarian Party, and basically this ongoing struggle within the Libertarian Party to keep it on track, to keep it adhering to its principle. The principle of non-aggression, which is what libertarianism is supposed to be based on, which says that you shouldn't use or advocate for the use of aggressive force in order, or threat of thereof, in order to achieve your political or social goals. And it's Ian here with you tonight.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
So, of course, you can bring up anything you want. If you want to comment on this discussion, our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. There is a misperception that libertarians align more often with conservatives. It's not true. Libertarianism is just a moral philosophy that says, hey, don't hurt people in order to get your way. If you got an idea, then you should put that idea forward and persuade people to get
Good
behind
ideas
it.
don't require force.
Right, and that means that you might have to get creative because, going to force is sort of the hallmark of an uncreative person or an uncreative idea.
It's what bullies do.
Right. You don't have a better idea, so you just want to hold a gun to somebody's
Give me
head.
your lunch money. Why should I give you my lunch money? Well, I'll punch you if you don't.
What does that actually mean?
What does what mean?
I mean, the non-aggression principle.
Well, do you want to describe it? Because I just went through a description of it. I can say it again.
An example.
You want an example of what the non-aggression principle
because
means?
I think a lot of people still don't understand what that means.
Well, in elementary school or
let's give an actual real life example
Sure.
here. There was a footbridge that wound up getting built here in Keene. Cost, what was it, $1.2 million or $2.1 million?
Somewhere between $1 to $2 million.
Cost a lot of money.
It's
the
ugly.
vast majority of that money wound up coming from a federal grant. Only about $100,000 of it got raised locally, but that was touted as, see, the community wants this because we raised $100,000 of this between $1 to $2 million to build this bridge. And they also claimed tax money is not being used to pay for this because it's a federal grant. Well, no, that's still tax money. It's just not local tax money. It's, tax money that's coming from Washington and Oregon and people like Sarah in New Mexico who want us to pay for her stupid bus.
And what's the problem with that?
Well, the problem is...
Right.
So the problem here is if people actually wanted this footbridge, they would have raised the full $2 million to build the footbridge instead of saying,
they knew they didn't have
Chris, I know you don't want this footbridge, but give me money or else. And see, people wind up, they don't see the actual gun behind the give me money.
No, they refuse to see it.
So they just say, well, the money comes out of my paycheck.
What happens?
And then it doesn't matter what happens.
What happens when I refuse to pay the tax that, went to that bridge?
Well, you might wind up getting a threatening letter from the IRS.
And I still don't pay.
Depending on how much they say you owe, you may or may not ever be able to leave the United States. They may or may not actually wind up pressing criminal charges against you.
Everybody knows what happens.
They may or may not garnish your wages.
Everyone knows what happens. They saw what happened to Wesley Snipes. They saw what happened to Richard Hatch from Survivor. These people have gone to jail. They've gone to prison over this.
Right.
Larkin Rose, one of the people within the Liberty Movement, one of the wrote anti-tax books back in the day. They put him in prison. Of course, he wrote more books while he was in there.
And what is prison?
Those are also like high target. Those are big targets.
But
to
that's
where
why
they
they
can
do
wind
that.
up making some splash
Examples.
here.
But that's why they do that. They want people to see this is what happens when you don't pay the tax.
Let's just wind up saying that they decide to come after you, Chris. Even though you're not the hugest target, but you kind of are. They're like, all right, come with us, and you say no. Well, at some point, if you refuse long enough, you're getting shot by a cop.
Or tased and knocked out or
kidnapped.
whatever. Yeah, they're going to get you.
So, what is prison? Prison is kidnapping.
Prison is a place with bars and walls, very high walls, and possibly electrified fences.
The
men
best
with guns.
walls, the best electric fences,
dogs, perhaps.
The best guns, the best dogs.
It's a cold,
They're good
foreboding
dogs.
place that most people don't want to spend any of their time, and for good reason. There are very unfriendly people in there, both on the inside of the prison and wearing the guard uniforms. So it's not a place people want to be, and so therefore they'll do what they're told. Now, at this point, you're just asking sort of open-ended questions to try to show people the gun in the room, so to speak.
I'm trying to show people what it means to be libertarian.
Yeah, but there are people who will not see it. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't try that. I think it's good that we've gone through this. But if you want to play devil's advocate, I can play devil's advocate on this. Well, look, it's the price you pay to live in civilized society.
According to
whom? That is to say taxes. Well, it's what people say. It's commonly said that this is the excuse that they – oh, yeah, well, I don't like some of the things that government does. Like, for instance, last night we were at this meeting with a bunch of people, and they were there about immigrants, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And many of them don't like some very specific things that the government is doing. But that doesn't mean they're ready to break away from the United States. It doesn't mean they're willing to embrace the non-aggression principle. They'll just say, oh, well, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Oh, well, we can take back the government, bring it back to our side of things, and make it an honest government, make it a good government. And, we don't believe that's possible. As libertarians, we don't think that government can be good, even with all the good intentions in the world poured into it. The way government and its incentives are set up is to essentially they're the reverse of what the incentives in life should be.
Right.
Whereas if you are failing in life in the marketplace, the market gives you signals to allow you to possibly correct those failures. And if you correct them, maybe you won't have your business go under or whatever it is you're trying to do. If you don't correct them, then you'll probably fail. Whereas with government, if you're doing the wrong thing, you get increased funding. If you're being wasteful, then you get increased funding. And it's just the most insane.
Just look at your local public school.
Sure.
And
great example.
The worse the grades are, the more they wind up spending per student.
Yep.
Happens here in Keene all the time, where we go to these school board meetings, and you'll hear, Well, yeah, I know our grades are below average, but that's why we need to spend more per student. We don't want to be average.
Well, certainly that increased funding results in increased performance, right?
I don't think so.
No?
And there's also declining population in the school system, and yeah, it's absolutely
declining
ludicrous.
Population and increased funding all at the same time.
We're not getting as much money from the state as we were last year. Yeah, because you have fewer students.
Apparently they didn't pass math class. So the toll-free number,
it's that new math.
Yeah, if you want to join us, it's 855-450 free like freedom. But there's a lot of cognitive dissonance that goes on, and it's important to show the gun in the room, which is what we were doing earlier when you're asking about, well, what happens if I don't pay these things?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they may at some level understand that, but they accept it as just sort of part of the process. It's what you have to do to live in a civilized society. They don't like the government in some ways, but it's better than anarchy, is what they believe. We have the best system in the world, is what they believe.
No, we don't. What we have is something that is akin to democracy, but it's not actually majority rule. It's a minority that rules over the majority, and it's really the minority of the minority because, well, see, we elect people to make decisions for us. So at the federal level, there's 435 men and women that wind up making decisions that affect 330 million people. And then in a lot of cases, they wind up not actually making the decision themselves. They make a decision that says the secretary of some government agency gets to make the decisions. And so then an unelected, unaccountable bureaucrat gets to decide the rules for every man, woman, and child in the country. And then it also winds up affecting people outside of the country because of treaties and whatnot. So this thing that Chris mentioned earlier, the Computer Fraud Abuse Act, winds up affecting people overseas because, well, see, you're doing business with the U.S., so therefore jurisdiction.
Oh, yeah, they're extracting people over this stuff from the UK and around the world. Yeah.
Kim.com, who has never set foot in the United States,
another great example,
is being treated as what's that term? Not refugee. What's the term for when you evade capture?
Oh, fugitive from justice.
Fugitive, because he has never been here. Because he knows if he comes here, he goes to jail, goes directly to jail, does not collect $200.
He was living in Australia when they raided him. All right, more coming up here. 855-450 free. 855-450-3733. You can weigh in. Free Talk Live.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-510-BACK.
For a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-510-BACK to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-510-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, October 13th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.26 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,295 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,579. Antiwar.com reports the House leadership's attempts to undermine the bipartisan House Concurrent Resolution 81, which would end U.S. involvement in the Saudi war in Yemen, is failing. On Wednesday, the House unanimously agreed to delay the vote on the resolution to November 2nd. The concurrent resolution directs the president to end all military participation in the Saudi war in Yemen immediately, pointing out that Congress never authorized such an operation. Congress has sole discretion to make such a determination, and in over 2 years of war in Yemen, there's never been such a vote. While a lot of America's ongoing wars are at present not authorized under the War Powers Act, Yemen is a particularly glaring one because there isn't even a roundabout argument to be made to try to connect this to the vague authorization of use of military force on fighting al-Qaeda. Indeed, in fighting against the Shiite Houthis in Yemen, the Saudi-led war has greatly enhanced al-Qaeda's power in the country. Indications are that support in the House for this resolution is growing. Unsurprising, given the House's recent votes on selling arms to the Saudis have been increasingly close. The delay will give the vote's supporters more time to shore up support. Those wishing to call their federal representatives to express support for House Concurrent Resolution can find contact information at house.gov/representatives/find. Under the War Powers Act, any one representative can bring a challenge like this, so the prospects of the House leadership actually preventing the vote are virtually nil. This means getting the word out about support for the bill is particularly important. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the Department of Justice singled out 4 cities and a county on Thursday for allegedly having so-called sanctuary policies that may violate a federal law that says local government cannot limit information sharing with U.S. immigration officials. The Department of Justice said New Orleans, New York City, Philadelphia, and Cook County, Illinois, along with its largest city, Chicago, have preliminarily been found to have policies that violate the federal law. It is giving those jurisdictions until October 27th to provide evidence demonstrating compliance. If the federal government finds the cities and counties are violating the statute known as Section 1373, it could try to cut federal funds for law enforcement. The DOJ has said it found no evidence that 4 other jurisdictions, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, Clark County, Nevada, Miami-Dade County, Florida, and the state of Connecticut were in violation of the statute. The determinations came after the DOJ, earlier in the year, asked local jurisdictions to detail their compliance to determine their eligibility for certain federal grants. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a statement that the cities still in the department's crosshairs adopt the view that the protection of criminal aliens is more important than the protection of law-abiding citizens and the rule of law. The jurisdictions say they are following the law, which states that local authorities cannot prevent information exchange with federal agents about people's immigration status. New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu and the superintendent of the police department said the city was in full compliance with the statute, but added that they would not be the federal government's deportation force. Some cities have concerns that immigrant communities will be afraid to reach out to police if they think local officials are cooperating with immigration enforcement. Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney said in a statement, "If victims and witnesses do not feel safe cooperating with the police, every Philadelphian will be less safe." He and the city solicitor said the DOJ was wrong in its preliminary determination that Philadelphia was not complying with the statute. New York City spokesman Seth Stein said the mayor's office was preparing to fight to protect critical public safety funding. The DOJ is in part concerned about municipal compliance with immigration and custom enforcement requests to local authorities to detain people for up to 48 hours beyond their scheduled release time so that immigration officials can pick them up. Some cities say they will only honor such requests when accompanied by criminal warrants and that compliance is voluntary and not required under the federal statute. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
U.S. officials assure Hong Kong that their protest is just one of many issues the White House is staying silent on, and an old guy at a hostel is down to party. This is the Onion Week in Review. Stunned officials from the Marine Conservation Institute announced this week that the past half-century of climate change and habitat loss somehow hasn't managed to take down the and parrotfish. Biologists stress that despite destructive chemical runoff, rising ocean temperatures, and overfishing, the persistent little shits were somehow plugging right along like nothing had even happened.
You look at the oil spills, greenhouse gases, and God knows what else we're throwing at them, and you think, yeah, those subtropical should have been wiped out decades ago. But nope, these sons of bitches are still around and doing better than ever.
In other news, a grasshopper is dismembered by a future Supreme Court justice. A man having a great time will soon have to apologize to everyone, and Rand Paul pretends to be asleep so his dad will carry him in from the car.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, as we launch into the second hour of the program, joining you tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
For those of you just tuning in, we've talked, and we're going to get back into the story in a moment. We're talking about terms of service. Yeah, I know, that doesn't sound real exciting. But apparently it's illegal to violate these things. We'll tell you about that. This is something I've never heard of before, but apparently it's not new. It's been that way for a couple of decades.
Now, I'm going to give a name, and tell me if this name rings a bell to you. Aaron Schwartz.
Yes.
He was charged.
That's the guy that killed himself.
Yes, because he was facing, like multiple lifetimes in prison for violating the Computer Fraud Abuse Act because he downloaded a bunch of stuff from a website.
So we can get back into that. We also, in the last hour, talked about the libertarian movement and its infiltration by fascists and socialists, and mostly, though, talking about the right wing of those groups and how they've managed to get some significant level of influence over the National Libertarian Party. And I also, we're kind of in the midst of all that talking about the basics of libertarianism, the non-aggression principle, the idea that libertarianism is supposed to be based on this concept that says you should not use aggressive force to achieve your political or social goals, or the threat of aggressive force to achieve your political or social goals. And this is what the bedrock principle of the Libertarian Party is supposed to be, but they've strayed away from that over the years, and that's what has frustrated me and a lot of other liberty-minded folks, to where like I said, I resigned my life membership in the National Libertarian Party back in 2008, and I can't say that they've done anything since then, for the most part, to really rekindle my interest whatsoever. The New Hampshire Libertarian Party, on the other hand, has definitely rekindled my interest. It was, for a long time, a very ineffective organization here. And then about a year ago, actually, I guess just over a year ago, I think it was September of 2016, Darryl, who's sitting across from me here,
yes.
Darryl Perry, who last year ran for, unfortunately unsuccessfully, for the Libertarian Party's presidential nomination, went and ran for the chairmanship of the New Hampshire Libertarian Party. You won that. You won, I believe, near unanimously. I think you were the only one who didn't vote for you.
Correct.
Wasn't that it? So you got that, and then immediately started to breathe new life into the organization with the assistance of Roger Paxton and the other great board members over there
yes.
at the New Hampshire Libertarian Party. But the whole organization was basically, new blood was brought in for the most part.
It's amazing what happens when you respond to emails.
Yes, the previous chairman was quite derelict in his duties, even the most basic of duties, as you're pointing out here. So it was a big change, and that got me interested again. And I've been doing
also,
stuff.
When you have email inquiries go to multiple people on the executive committee instead of just going to one person.
Which is what you guys have now, but
Correct.
did not previously. And so, that's where I want to put my time. That's where I want to put my money, because I only have a limited amount of both of those things, which is why, like I say, God has blessed you and those radicals in the Libertarian Party nationally, Darryl. I mean, I think it's basically a waste of time, but you guys feel like it's worth it. You guys are putting time into trying to save the National Libertarian Party, and it's not an impossible task because it's still a pretty close split. Like, Gary Johnson didn't win by that much.
Right, and I even heard people say, well, I only voted for him because I didn't want a third ballot. So there was,
this is within the party when he was nominated.
Right, within the convention.
So it went to a second ballot.
Went to a second ballot, and, people they were exhausted. They didn't want a third ballot. They didn't want the vice presidential nomination to wind up going on further. So just go ahead. I know he's only just a couple of votes from winning, so go ahead and throw a vote, and then we can move on to other stuff. And it's really sad when you have that sort of stuff to where, people really don't want something, but they go ahead and vote for it anyway because, well, we'll have another ballot and I was hungry and wanted to be able to go get food.
So this is also another political tactic, which is to be more dedicated than the other side, to wear out, to burn out the other side. I mean, we've attempted to engage in this locally here. There's a school board meeting that happens, and to some extent, because we're the minority in the room by a significant minority, we benefit when the numbers change in our direction, meaning that if we can outlast in this lengthy 6-hour-long meeting, which sometimes they've been that long, this sort of marathon, boring political meeting, people start to drop off. The average, more average, teachers that might have come, they might have to go and pick up their kids from soccer practice or something like that, right? Like, so they've got to, they can't stay any
because
longer.
These meetings generally happen on a Saturday,
right?
Start early in the morning, and one thing that really baffled me earlier this year, when we were at this meeting and there was a proposal to spend $1 to create an athletic fund that would then not use any taxpayer money. It would be, just we need to create this fund and then we will be able to accept donations into this account.
Okay.
And I got up and motioned to amend that to accept a $1 donation to create the fund.
Yes.
And
you were willing to give that $1.
I also said that, I will donate the $1 and held up a dollar bill. And some local busybody guy that opposes everything we suggest got up and said, this is ludicrous, blah, blah, blah. And the proposal got voted down the same as every other proposal that any liberty activist suggested. Same exact vote.
Right.
And it's like, really? Really? Like, instead of,
you were being charitable.
Right. And then I, wound up saying I still want to donate the $1 and... Yeah, just absolutely petty. It's petty.
It is. Well, that's politics. I mean, that's basically one of the most common aspects of politics. It's petty and it's
But why
cowardly.
can't you guys just compromise, Ian? You should do all the compromising. Well, no, a-hole, you need to compromise too. That's how compromise works, is both people give a little bit.
Well, the thing is...
compromise isn't you always get your way. That's called you being a bully.
See, the thing is, the Libertarians don't have enough political sway in order to be compromised with. The time when you get the compromise is when you have enough political sway to where you can stick your foot in the mud. And
then don't tell me to compromise if compromise means sit down, shut up, and do whatever I tell you. That's called me being bullied.
But that's what
not
they
me
want.
compromising.
Right. Well, they don't even want you there. They don't want us there.
But don't use the word compromise. Just tell me sit down, shut up, and do what I tell you.
Most of them aren't as honest. They're not as honest with themselves to do something like that. But every now and then you'll find one that will say, yeah, go away, Free Stater, or go away.
Right.
Whatever. We don't want your kind around. We don't want your kind around
I still
here.
also think it's funny that there's the group of people that have moved here from like Rhode Island and Massachusetts to say that moving here to try to change things is bad.
And then they got involved in the system after they moved here.
They're the people that are moving here to get involved to change things and roll back some of the laws or, get rid of certain freedoms that we have.
Our toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. Let's go to Noah in Arkansas, listening online. Hello, Noah.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I was listening to Free Talk Live a couple of days ago, and I saw when Roger Ver came on the show.
Yeah.
And he gave kind of a one-sided argument, and I just thought the people should should know the other side.
Sure. So what issue were you referring to that he was giving a one-sided argument about?
Specifically, the larger effects of this proposed SegWit change on Bitcoin.
All right, so we're going to change gears here into a Bitcoin discussion, which is going to require a little bit of background for listeners who might be uncertain or unfamiliar.
Let me put my Bitcoin hat on.
So there's a major, and we're going to have to hang on to you here, Noah. So stick with us. You can give your the other side here in a moment. We're going to bring you back for that. You can hang out, right? All right, more with Noah. He wants to give the other side. Roger Ver, one of the proprietors at Bitcoin.com. He is a big influence in the Bitcoin world because, well, he bought in some Bitcoin early when it were real cheap. And now Bitcoin are hitting new record highs within the last 48 hours, hitting over $5,800 per Bitcoin. And there is something looming on the horizon that threatens to once again cause all manner of confusion within the Bitcoin marketplace. And, well, people feel very strongly about it one way or the other. We'll tell you about it coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Petey stopped eating and all his hair fell out.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly. There was hair all over.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dinovite is nutrition.
Within 2 weeks, the shedding slowed down to almost none. The scratching went away after a few days, and Sundance's coat was starting to get shiny and glossy.
It's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He's not in pain.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, do the Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio. Our toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's grousing about the Libertarian movement and all of its terrible infighting, or talking about terms of service, apparently violating those is a crime in the United States, and the Supreme Court just recently backed that up. We haven't even really gotten into the meat of that story yet. And, of course, it's always open phones here at Free Talk Live. We're going to get back to your calls in a moment here, but we're actually about to talk to Noah about the future of Bitcoin. It is at best an uncertain future, and we'll get into the details on what's happening there in moments. But Bitcoin is not the only cryptocurrency in the marketplace. It was just the first one. And, of course, like the Model T, you could argue that the internet won't have use for it for that much longer. And then, of course, the question becomes, well, if not Bitcoin, then what? What will be the number one choice of the marketplace? And we honestly don't know, but we're pretty excited about Dash here at Free Talk Live because it is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy, fees are low, and transactions are quick and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar, and it's a lot cheaper than Bitcoin. I just spent some Bitcoin this afternoon. It cost me $1.72 in fees to send $10 worth of Bitcoin.
Wow.
So Dash does not have that problem. It's decentralized. It's run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial future for a better financial system and future for everyone. Take back control over your future today and find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to dash.org and find out why. As we go back to Noah in Arkansas, Noah calling in to give the other side to counter what Roger Ver said in a Free Talk Live after show that we did with him earlier, an Edgington Post that we did earlier this week. And let me just bring our listeners up to speed here because it's a complicated discussion that we're going to try to oversimplify for the sake of brevity, for the sake of newbies understanding this. Bitcoin is the world's most successful cryptocurrency. It was the first one. It's got a tremendous market effect. There's a large network all around the globe. It's a decentralized currency. It can't be taken out by governments. It can't be stopped, basically. And it does what it says it's going to do, which is to say it allows people to transfer wealth from one person to another pretty much directly across the world for relatively low fees.
And fairly quickly.
Yeah, and quickly. Cutting out the middleman, basically. Getting the banks, getting the governments out of money and having a money that can actually, benefit the individual and increase your level of power over your own life rather than having politicians and bankers having power over it. So it's a huge paradigm shift. And it's been very, very successful. In fact, it's been so successful that it has hit certain growing pains that, well, you want to have. I mean, it's a good thing to have these growing pains, but ultimately you want them to go away at some point. And they have not gone away. The growing pains have to do with the number of transactions per minute, basically, or per second that the network is handling. It's full, and it can't handle any more. And so there have been these two sides that have been fighting for years over how to fix this problem with the transactions. The two sides have been fighting. One of them supports the segregated witness protocol. The other one supports increasing the so-called block size. And both of them say that their solution is the one true way to fix Bitcoin. Some of the people involved in this dispute came together in this event called Consensus 2017. It happened in May, and they signed an agreement saying that they were going to implement both of the proposed proposals. So they were going to do segregated witness first in August, which they did, And now they're looking at doing what they call the 2x, where they double the block size, making more room in these blocks, which are the technology behind the Bitcoin that contains all of the transactions every 10 minutes, basically. And so that's sort of the fight that's been going on. Now you say to yourself, well, wait, they came to agreement. There was a consensus. What's the fight? No. Not everybody came to an agreement. Only like 83% of the mining power in the Bitcoin world came to an agreement, and a few dozen companies. So with that sort of preface, Noah, what do you have to say? Because Roger Ver is in favor of the 2x doubling, and he was arguing for that the other night. But what did you have to say?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the parts about the banks and decentralization and all that good stuff, because I think all the libertarians, the people that listen, and y'all are going to agree that once the banks come in, it's no good. And that's actually what I believe the SegWit 2x is all about. Now, people talk a lot about the scaling issues, the block size, but most of these proposed changes are not actually because of that. The changes are because of third-party interests, corporations, and banks who use this argument as a guise to sneak in their own work. And there are a couple examples. One was Bitcoin Cash. In my opinion, that was from a corporation. That was Bitmain trying to keep one of their hacks, some of their software working. And if we have enough time, I can touch into that. But that's not really where I wanted to go tonight. It's about SegWit. Now, segregated witness, it's just one of the ways, and 2x of fixing that problem. But the problem is not.
But it hasn't. Hold on, before you go on, segregated witness hasn't fixed the problem, right? Like, they implemented this thing, and even the people who support segregated witness have said, some of them, that it could take many months possibly before segregated witness starts to actually have an effect on reducing the amount of transactions in the blocks.
Right, because isn't there something, and I didn't listen to that interview with Roger Ver, isn't there something to where very few of the miners are actually, implementing SegWit, that it's something about the nodes, but not the miners?
No. All the miners had to be segregated witness. So the 95% of them had to be going for the segregated witness for it to even go into effect. So all of them are segregated witness capable at this point. The question is, will the users upgrade their software, like their wallet software, to go to a segregated witness-based wallet? And have you?
I don't know how.
Have you?
Is
not
Bitcoin
using,
the latest version of Bitcoin Core support segregated witness?
I'm not running a full node, so I
you don't have
no
to run
clue.
a full node. The segregated witness is supposed to be something that anybody can use, any wallet software.
All right, so after this segment ends, I want you to show me how in my Airbits wallet to
I don't know if you can.
on.
I don't know if you can.
Right, then I don't know if I have or not, because I'm not
saying.
running a full node, so I don't know how to do this.
You guys are relatively connected Bitcoiners. Like, you guys, the two men I'm looking at in the studio here,
I'd agree.
Chris and Darryl, you and all three of us, we're at every single Bitcoin meetup that happens here in Keene, New Hampshire. We are three of the most core Bitcoin, fanatics in this region of the country. And you guys have no idea whether the wallet software you're using supports segregated witness.
I think it does, because I have the latest version of Bitcoin Core, and if I'm not mistaken, Bitcoin Core they were supporting segregated witness.
But you don't know how it works.
I don't.
You think it has segregated witness, but you've never seen anything about it. They didn't, point out the new features to you, or you don't know how to implement it.
Right, so you asking me, have I activated it? I'm not the developer for the wallet that I use.
Is there something you actually have to do in order to utilize it?
Hang on, Noah. I know you got more to say here, so we're going to bring you back here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And this might be why there are only just over 10% of the transactions on the Bitcoin network that are using the segregated witness at this point. So it's barely had much of an effect. It's Free Talk Live.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio waves and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, if you want, you can get interactive online over at freetalklive.com. We've got a forum which allows you to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners and some of the hosts. In fact, all three of the hosts on the show tonight are on that very forum. You can go to forum.freetalklive.com to find it there. That's forum.freetalklive.com. And by the way, it's very modern forum software. It's not like the forums of the olden days, which we had one of those back in the day, back when forums were a thing, before social media took over the internet. Well, we're trying to bring back the forum, so check it out at forum.freetalklive.com. As we go back to Noah in Arkansas, he's called in about the Bitcoin war, this kind of geek war that has been going on now for years and unfortunately is spilling out into the public view with these very public and contentious hard forks where the Bitcoin whole network basically splits in two and creates a copy of itself, and then there's now two competing Bitcoins out there. There's Bitcoin Core versus Bitcoin Cash, but Bitcoin Cash was a relatively small thing. It was just sort of big enough to kind of breathe on its own, but it has never really been anything of significance in comparison to Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin is going to possibly fork again coming up here in the next couple of weeks with something called Bitcoin Gold, but that's not really what we're talking about here because, again, that's looking like it's going to be relatively small. But this other thing, the segregated witness, has mining power behind it. It's got like 80% plus of the miners saying they're going to back this proposal. And it seems like whatever the miners say as it comes to Bitcoin goes. Now, Noah, you were expressing concern for centralization, and I wanted to make sure you had a chance to continue your thoughts because you're trying to rebut what Roger Ver had said on an after show that we did earlier this week about Bitcoin and his support for doubling the block size, which is, again, another way that people are proposing to handle some of the growing pains in the Bitcoin network.
Correct. And the main thing I want to talk about is not segregated witness or any of the problems with Bitcoin. I'm trying to warn people about the segregated witness or the SegWit 2X of being what I believe is the banker takeover of Bitcoin. A lot of people think...
A banker's takeover? Is that what you said?
Exactly.
Well, hold on a second. Now, isn't it true that the Bitcoin core team, a lot of them are being paid by a company called Blockstream?
I will have to look that up.
I've read that that's true. So maybe it's not true if somebody wants to, rebut that. But, please rebut if you know anything different. But my understanding is this Blockstream company was funded by a big bank to the tune of like $100+ billion. And now that money's being used to hire these programmers and get them on the side of what this Blockstream company wants Bitcoin to be, which is this, very expensive thing. In fact, I think one of the Bitcoin Core supporters went on record saying that they believe that Bitcoin should be $100 fees per transaction.
Wow.
That's what people want.
Yeah, I've heard that some of the people in the what's called Bitcoin Core, they want it to be
a settlement layer.
Yeah, that settlement layer to where, it's kind of like how back in the olden days, the banks would just use that $100,000 bill to send money between banks. And, regular people never got to see that $100,000 bill. It was a settlement layer. And Bitcoin should kind of be the same thing. And if you want to actually, buy a cup of coffee, use something else.
That's literally what some of them have been saying. Now, no, I mean, is that what your vision for Bitcoin is to, only have it be for the rich?
Definitely not.
Okay.
And I don't believe that people would follow that, and that would be a very, very bad way to take this. And I don't think the majority of them would support that. There might be a couple outliers. It's a kind of a free market. But the digital currency group that is on the other side, the DCG, they are also, I guess, but I don't know about the other ones, but they are funded by MasterCard, and some of the head honchos in it are a bit bigger, like, let's see, pull it up, I have a couple notes.
Okay, so what you're saying is there's some bankers' money on both sides of this. You're saying that there's bankers' money on the side of the people who are going to do the SegWit 2X thing in several weeks, and I've just pointed out to you that there's bankers' money on the other side of the coin for this Bitcoin Core software team. So what I don't understand is, maybe you can explain this for me. Why is it that you believe that doubling the block size is somehow more pro-banks than keeping things as they are, which is obviously a broken Bitcoin network because the fees are insane?
Exactly. It's not about the block size here. It's a transition of power from the core block, the Bitcoin.
But how is it a transition of power? It's the existing miners who are the ones who are going to decide where this goes. Now, you can certainly argue that the mining has been centralized, meaning more so now than in the past, And what I mean by that is Bitcoin mining has gotten more difficult over time, and people have had to join these mining pools, many of which are run in China by these mega Chinese corporations that have put a lot of money into, mining hardware and things like that. So, I mean, there's no doubt that there are only, a number of these mining pools out there that are keeping the network alive, and so you could argue that it's been centralized in that way. How is SegWit 2x going to change that? I mean, it's going to basically keep that status quo in that any of these big miners can mine either the 2x version or the 1x version, right?
Well, I don't believe that miners are the ones that make the decisions. That's one.
Why?
That's one way that me and Roger Ver disagree, because I mine myself on a very small scale, but I join the forums. I'm in the communities. I see people. I talk to people. And I know for a fact, or I say that miners will almost always follow the money. And you can see that in history, and you can see that all the time. Miners always follow the money.
But isn't that technically making a decision?
But the decision here I'm talking about is actually more on the development side, who controls what Bitcoin will become in the future. Because segregated witness is being pushed by the DCG, but that fork, the development, will take the development from the core group to another corporation, a corporation called BitGo. And BitGo is putting themselves in the development as the middleman, a settlement layer before it hits the actual blockchain, similar to a bank. They're the ones that will have the development, the power, the choices, the regulation, and of course, they are heavily invested by the DCG.
Okay.
And also,
so what it sounds like you're describing is a struggle between corporations here, and there's no doubt that Bitcoin isn't, I don't think, as decentralized as a lot of people would want it to be. But it doesn't seem like either of these things are going to change any of that. What you're talking about, if what you're saying is true, and I don't know, I haven't heard that before, but it's worth looking into. That if the segregated 2x thing comes through, that somehow transfers power over to this company BitGo away from this other company Blockstream, whose CEO was apparently the one who said that he thinks people want $100 Bitcoin transaction fees. So, I mean, I'm not really sure, which one of these characters is worse in this situation. All I'm really concerned with is whether or not I can spend Bitcoin and whether or not Bitcoin is useful in the marketplace. So I realize that Bitcoin is not likely going to last forever, especially if these stupid internal power struggles continue to happen with it. I think it's just going to shatter into a million pieces and no one's going to care about it eventually, once the market figures out that it doesn't need 20 Bitcoins, 20 different types of Bitcoins, and ends up picking some other competitor, something that's not even Bitcoin to begin with. But ultimately, right now, I'm faced with what's happening right now. And right now, I went out to spend Bitcoin today and paid $1.72 to send $10 worth of Bitcoin. To me, that's broken. When's the last time you spent Bitcoin, Noah?
I spent some actually 2 nights ago. I was using Shapeshift, and almost, there are some high times, but I'd say the majority of transactions I use are at around 20 to 30 cents. There might be higher.
That's still too much money. Hang on, Noah. We can bring it back here to continue the discussion. I'll give you, as equal of a shrift as we gave Roger V, although most of Roger's interview was actually after the show earlier this week. More coming up. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, I would recommend Dynovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you're behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com and click on Specials. That's infidelbodyarmor.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free and join us on the radio. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Still to come here, we've got to get into the Supreme Court case that Chris had brought in to share with us tonight about the terms of service. Apparently, it's more than just some crap that nobody ever reads. They're claiming that you have to obey or possibly go to prison. We'll tell you more about that coming up here in moments, but we're actually in the midst of an interesting call with Noah in Arkansas. He's calling about the blockchain Bitcoin debate, where Bitcoiners have been dug in on both sides of this issue and throwing internet bombs at one another, making memes and censoring forums and doing all kinds of nonsense to fight with one another over the future of the direction of the currency. It's an ugly mess, but I guess that's sort of how these things go in the cryptocurrency world, or at the very least in the Bitcoin world. We don't see this level of contention in other communities, but then again, that's probably because there's not as much attention being paid to those other cryptocurrencies and whatever level of dumb dramas happening within their movements, because Bitcoin affects a whole lot more people. It's the #1 cryptocurrency in the world. Right now, it's inching towards $100 billion in market share. In fact, I actually had a piece of show prep tonight about how Bitcoin, according to CNBC.com, at $96.7 billion market capitalization, Bitcoin has more of a market cap than Goldman Sachs.
That's a lot.
You've heard of Goldman Sachs. That's a big old bank, as I understand it. Well, Goldman Sachs only has $92.9 billion market cap. Morgan Stanley, you've heard of those people, like investors or something like that? $89.1 billion. Netflix, $84.5 billion. Incredible. Bitcoin has surpassed those, and it will continue likely to surpass other companies and corporations because it truly is a phenomenon, which is why people care so much about it.
What about Smith Barney? Are they still around?
I don't know.
You remember their ads from back when we were younger? We make money the old-fashioned way. We earn it.
No, I mean, it sounds kind of familiar, but that one didn't stick with me. So let's go back to Noah. He's in Arkansas. Now, Noah, you've been claiming that this new plan to double the block size with the so-called SegWit 2x proposal that's supposed to go into effect within Bitcoin in about another 4 or 5 weeks from today, that you're saying this is a dastardly plot by a big bank to try to take over Bitcoin?
Yes, that is what I believe, and I'll keep on that. But I kind of like to work backwards here, just to let and start with the end of Roger Ver's podcast, where he mentioned he recommended people putting their Bitcoins in an exchange that did not support the Bitcoin core and just left you with the SegWit 2x coin.
No, that's not what he said. Roger said that when Bitcoin splits, this is supposed to happen, as I said, in about 4 or 5 weeks. When that happens, there could be a very contentious period and dangerous period of time in which you should not spend your Bitcoins due to something called a lack of what's called replay protection. Meaning if you spend your Bitcoins, they could get lost or stolen or something like that.
Or maybe you send it to the wrong
place.
Type of thing. And Mark Edge accidentally wound up sending, I forget if it was Ether Classic to an Ether address or vice versa.
Yeah, he did that.
But
Bye-bye.
he scanned the wrong QR code, and because it accepted this is a thing. So if you tried sending Bitcoin to a Dash address, your wallet would say,
work.
this is invalid.
Right. But when the Bitcoin splits, the two chains have the same address structure.
Right.
And so unless you're paying close attention, you might be reversing the Bitcoin with the Bitcoin Cash or the Bitcoin with the SegWit 2x or the whatever it ends up being called. But anyway, I forget where I was going with that.
Don't spend your Bitcoin while
what Roger
there's
said.
all of these possible chains because you don't want to send your stuff to the wrong address.
But what he was saying was, if for whatever reason you are going to want to trade this new Bitcoin, so it's going to be like Bitcoin 2 versus Bitcoin 1, basically. The one with the double size blocks and the one with the 1 megabyte. So 2 megabyte or 1 megabyte. And so the idea is when the split happens, if you don't have your Bitcoin on an exchange, then it will be very difficult. It could be very difficult for you to move the Bitcoin once it splits onto the exchange due to these issues, this turmoil that's basically going to be happening, which will be dangerous. So the idea would be that if you are willing to risk putting your Bitcoin on an exchange, which is generally a bad idea, and I think he acknowledged that this would be a risk for someone to do this. But let's say you are a fanatic. Let's say, Noah, you truly believe that the 1x Bitcoin is the true Bitcoin, and that's the way you're going to go. Or Roger, who might believe that the 2x Bitcoin is the true Bitcoin, and that's the way he wants to go. What he was saying is, if you want to make a trade at the moment of the split, if you want to be ready to trade right then, when you're let's say you have a whole Bitcoin in your wallet on the exchange, when that split happens, you will then have one of the 2x Bitcoin and you'll have one of the 1x Bitcoin. So you'll then have 2 Bitcoin of the two, one of the each different type. Make sense? So the idea is that if you're on the exchange, you can instantly start trading that. You don't have to wait to try to send your coins to the exchange, which may take quite a long time, especially if there are mining delays and problems with the network, which are expected to happen once the split. So this is for people who truly are like true believers of one side or the other, and I'm not. I don't know what's going to happen. My plan is to hold and wait and watch and see, which is what I did through the Bitcoin Cash thing as well. But ultimately, if you are a true believer and you want to, let's say, sell all your 2x Bitcoin so you can get more 1x Bitcoin, then in order to do that and be Johnny on the spot, you need to have your Bitcoin in the exchange before the split happens. That's what he was trying to explain.
Well, I guess I must have misread or not got exactly what he was pointing to at the end.
So anyway, I was looking up what you were saying, Noah. I found an article over at the Reddit for Bitcoin /r/Bitcoin, which the title of this posted 6 days ago is SegWit 2x the real banker takeover? And then they proceed to go through much of the same stuff that you had told us on the air. Later on, the author does admit that Blockstream, the company that is, as I understand it, funding a lot of the core developers, was also an attempted corporate takeover, in that case to restrict block size and push people onto their proprietary level 2 platform. So it does sound like there may be this, corporate struggle takeover thing going on, which does not make me feel good for the future of Bitcoin generally. But as I said, if I only have two choices here, and one choice is a Bitcoin with a smaller block size, and one corporation with a high level of influence, or a Bitcoin with a larger block size and another corporation with a high level of influence, it's like voting between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
So let me ask this question. Which one actually winds up reducing the fees and allowing Bitcoin to actually be usable for these small transactions?
Well, both of them claim that their solution is going to reduce the fees, Darryl, although right now we haven't seen SegWit do any kind of fee reductions, so it remains to be seen whether that's actually going to play out, because only 10% of the people who are using
right. One of the claims that I've heard is, well, the reason the fees aren't low right now is because there's these 2x people that are trying to
they're spamming
mess
the network,
us up.
right? That claim, yeah. Who knows? I mean, it's a nasty, ugly situation.
It's the whole, vote for Republicans and we'll give you small government. But, we've got to increase government in this area, and this area, and this area because Democrats.
So one of the things I think that you're mistaken about, Noah, and I'd love for somebody else to call in on this, and thank you, by the way, for the call tonight. I appreciate you bringing that up. And we're going to continue this discussion over the next several weeks. There's no doubt about it as this thing gets closer. So thank you. But the one thing he's, I think, mistaken about is he doesn't believe the miners are the biggest players in this, and they are. So yeah, the question is an important question of who's going to develop Bitcoin, which is what he brought up before. Who are the programmers going to be that write sort of the future code for what Bitcoin will become? And ultimately, there can be different people coding Bitcoin, and there are. But the question is, who are the miners going to back? Anybody out there can put forward a Bitcoin piece of software and say, here's my attempt at writing Bitcoin.
Right, but
if the miners don't jump on board, you got nothing.
But as you mentioned, basically you've got two giant corporations making a proposal, which in a lot of ways sounds kind of like how elections work here, where you've got red team, blue team. Yeah, there's
except there's no force involved.
Right. Well, there's Libertarians and Greens, but they're never going to win. So you've got to vote for one of these big two things. And if you don't vote for either, then, you're just going to get forked.
Well, in this case, the only vote you have is to continue or not continue using Bitcoin. That's the vote that you and I have as users of Bitcoin. But the miners are the ones who get the most meaningful vote, at least as far as the future of Bitcoin is concerned. So the question is, what are they going to pick in 5 weeks? I don't know.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, October 13th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.26 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,295 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,579. Antiwar.com reports the House leadership's attempts to undermine the bipartisan House Concurrent Resolution 81, which would end U.S. involvement in the Saudi war in Yemen, is failing. On Wednesday, the House unanimously agreed to delay the vote on the resolution to November 2nd. The concurrent resolution directs the president to end all military participation in the Saudi war in Yemen immediately, pointing out that Congress never authorized such an operation. Congress has sole discretion to make such a determination, and in over 2 years of war in Yemen, there's never been such a vote. While a lot of America's ongoing wars are at present not authorized under the War Powers Act, Yemen is a particularly glaring one because there isn't even a roundabout argument to be made to try to connect this to the vague authorization of use of military force on fighting al-Qaeda. Indeed, in fighting against the Shiite Houthis in Yemen, the Saudi-led war has greatly enhanced al-Qaeda's power in the country. Indications are that support in the House for this resolution is growing. Unsurprising, given the House's recent votes on selling arms to the Saudis have been increasingly close. The delay will give the vote's supporters more time to shore up support. Those wishing to call their federal representatives to express support for House Concurrent Resolution can find contact information at house.gov/representatives/find. Under the War Powers Act, any one representative can bring a challenge like this, so the prospects of the House leadership actually preventing the vote are virtually nil. This means getting the word out about support for the bill is particularly important. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the Department of Justice singled out 4 cities and a county on Thursday for allegedly having so-called sanctuary policies that may violate a federal law that says local government cannot limit information sharing with U.S. immigration officials. The Department of Justice said New Orleans, New York City, Philadelphia, and Cook County, Illinois, along with its largest city, Chicago, have preliminarily been found to have policies that violate the federal law. It is giving those jurisdictions until October 27th to provide evidence demonstrating compliance. case. If the federal government finds the cities and counties are violating the statute known as Section 1373, it could try to cut federal funds for law enforcement. The DOJ has said it found no evidence that 4 other jurisdictions, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, Clark County, Nevada, Miami-Dade County, Florida, and the state of Connecticut, were in violation of the statute. The determinations came after the DOJ, earlier in the year, asked local jurisdictions to detail their compliance to determine their eligibility for certain federal grants. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a statement that the cities still in the department's crosshairs adopt the view that the protection of criminal aliens is more important than the protection of law-abiding citizens and the rule of law. The jurisdictions say they are following the law, which states that local authorities cannot prevent information exchange with federal agents about people's immigration status. New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu and the superintendent of the police department said the city was in full compliance with the statute, but added that they would not be the federal government's deportation force. Some cities have concerns that immigrant communities will be afraid to reach out to police if they think local officials are cooperating with immigration enforcement. Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney said in a statement, "If victims and witnesses do not feel safe cooperating with the police, every Philadelphian will be less safe." He and the city solicitor said the DOJ was wrong in its preliminary determination that Philadelphia was not complying with the statute. New York City spokesman Seth Stein said the mayor's office was preparing to fight to protect critical public safety funding. The DOJ is in part concerned about municipal compliance with immigration and custom enforcement requests to local authorities to detain people for up to 48 hours beyond their scheduled release time so that immigration officials can pick them up. Some cities say they will only honor such requests when accompanied by criminal warrants and that compliance is voluntary and not required under the federal statute. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The Surgeon General warns teens the cinnamon challenge is not for pussies. Taylor Swift is now dating the Watertown boat, and a middle-aged funeral director buys a flashy red hearse. We pity your pathetic dependence on this for your weekly news, but here we go anyway. This is the Onion Week in Review. A study released this week by the National Institutes of Health confirmed that for the 25th straight year, wolf attacks remain the leading cause of death in the United States. The Human Health Agency's findings confirmed that being viciously killed by a ravenous wolf claimed the lives of over 800,000 Americans last year alone, with researchers adding that one person in the United States dies every 40 seconds from a violent wolf attack.
The mortality rate associated with wolf attacks vastly outstrips the death tolls of cancer, stroke, and chronic respiratory disease. People should know that anyone... Oh, Jesus,
no. This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free as we launch here into the third hour of the program. You can bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
So we've talked about terms of service. We're going to get back into that, and apparently the Supreme Court ruling in a very disturbing ruling that terms of service can be legally enforced, meaning that possible jail time, criminal sanctions for people violating them. We'll get into that, and talked a lot about Bitcoin and the upcoming geek war, the continuing geek war that's going to get even more intense within the next 4 or 5 weeks, and who knows what's going to end up happening with the price of the Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin within the last couple of days has been at record high prices at over $5,800 per Bitcoin. Just absolutely incredible run up in the last, again, couple of days. But you can bring up whatever you want. Let's go to Skype, where Dave is on the line. Hello, Dave. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, all.
Hey.
I have another success to report from New Hampshire. I'm queuing up the quote now, but while I'm doing so, basically, you remember the Croydon situation, correct?
Our listeners probably don't. So what is it?
Can you summarize it real quick while I'm queuing up the data?
Croydon, I believe, was a situation where a school board, which had a liberty activist on it, ended up creating a program to allow people to take sort of like a voucher basically to a private school, including religious private schools, and there was a court case about that, and I forget what happened in the court case. Darryl, do you remember what happened with the Croydon?
I think the court basically said you can't do that, but then there was legislation
that changed that.
Authorized municipalities, if they don't have the full range of schools, which Croydon does not, then they can wind up giving something akin to a voucher, but they don't necessarily give it to the parents. They give it to the school.
I see.
So they pay a tuition, but it must be a non-profit, non-religious school, I believe.
So Jody Underwood is a Free Stater who has intermittently been, I guess, the president or the chair of the school board in Croydon. And she just posted a message that, quote, we are officially calling this effort done. To summarize, we were able to raise about half the funds needed for our legal fees, and the rest was generously donated by EdChoice, a national organization that supports school choice. In 2017, Senate Bill 8 was passed, which clearly allows towns to send their students to private schools as part of a town tuitioning program. As a result, the Croydon School District decided to drop our appeal to the New Hampshire Supreme Court. Thank you to all who supported our efforts and who continue to support school choice in New Hampshire around the country, unquote.
All right.
I have this theory that successes like this will generally not generate a ton of attention. They won't generate any kind of nationwide attention. The world won't get that much attention. But I like the Sun Tzu quote, what the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. Hence, his victories bring him neither reputation for wisdom nor credit for courage. So this is a typical win in New Hampshire where we got it and we did it without, a lot of kerfuffle, but just did it.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of wins here, and, as I've bemoaned before, the lack of coverage for them is unfortunate. I mean, Dave, you're out there doing everything you can over at RidleyReport.com. I'm doing what I can over at FreeKeen.com, but unfortunately, we just don't have enough media outlets to really effectively trumpet news like this and many of the other wonderful activist things that are happening here in New Hampshire that are far too diverse and varied to really be covered by a couple of different outlets. We need more movers. We need more libertarians to pick up their lives and move to New Hampshire, bring their talents, bring their businesses, bring their friends, their families. People who love liberty really need to get up here because, even though we've done amazing things, as you've pointed out, there's still a long way to go. And even though we've already shown ourselves as the most successful and most, exciting liberty movement out there in the entire planet, it's still a challenge to get people to really seriously consider picking up their lives and coming to a place where it's already more free and is likely going to become more free with more people like you describe who are here and they're in the trenches and they're getting things done.
In a sense, the reason we don't get more attention is simply because we're a victim of our own success. I mean, Michael Collins got a lot of attention when he was fighting the British, right? But the cost was thousands of lives, and the gain was limited compared to the gains that we've made. So it's because they're successful that they're not getting that much attention, I think.
That's a strange thing to say, because they're successful that they're not getting that much attention. I got to say I disagree. I think that the attention comes if you ask for it to some extent. So when I send out a press release here from freekeen.com, if there's some sort of news that I think is pretty important and I want the mainstream media to know about it, I send out a release. More often than not, I would say, I get a bite. Like, the mainstream media, they want things to report on, but they don't always know what's going on. They're not following closely every single court case or every single, piece of legislation or whatever.
Right. There's 900 pieces of legislation going through the legislature. It's really difficult to follow every single one of them.
Right. The reason why, for instance, Will Coley got the attention that he got was because we contacted the mainstream media about it. I have a press release list that I send stuff like that out to because I thought mosque being built in Keene, That's pretty interesting news. Sounds like something the media might be interested in. And sure enough, some of them were. So he got a report from NBC Boston. In that case, she didn't even see the press release, even though I think NBC's on my list. She checks Free Keene regularly. So,
Interesting.
The mainstream media is looking at our media sources, the ones that are, reputable and have been around for a while, and they're using that as a source for where they, get their stories from. Now, obviously, they're going to put whatever spin they're going to put on it,
right?
But I don't concern myself with that. All I want is for the thing to be publicized.
Right, and one of the reasons that you do have, these quote-unquote mainstream reporters checking Free Keene is you don't put out clickbait.
Well, I hope that. Well, I'm sure some people think that I do, but
yeah,
right. But no, there are other quote unquote libertarian media things where the only thing that they post are clickbait.
Yeah,
and nobody takes them seriously.
There's still a phenomenon where if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're lucky to have had as little bleeding as we have. We're lucky we're not like Martin Luther King in the sense people know about Martin Luther King because they shot him.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I've said we're blessed. We are blessed in our enemies, is what Rich Paul used to say. Like the haters that come at us. I mean, I'm grateful that nobody's been lynched. Nobody's had a cross burned in their front lawn. I mean, there's been some peace flags stolen, but there's not too much more besides basic vandalism that has occurred to some of the more visible.
No, that's actually that's a little too sanguine because we've had. I think 3 people who were friends of Free Staters or friends of the Free State Project, liberty activists who were helping us, have been seriously injured in violence as a result of their activism.
Oh, you're referring to Garrett Ian's brother who was shot last year?
Yes, and there was.
I heard that was an argument
it was over a girl, right?
I heard that was over the porcupine flag.
That's the story that was attached to it, but that's not supposedly the real story.
It started over a girl, and then the guy said,
drunk people.
"And F your flag."
Yeah, so I wouldn't count that. What were the other 2 that you had in mind?
There was the one where the guy got pushed into the fountain during the chalk wars a couple years ago.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Although,
it was.
Yeah, things got pretty heated there. Although he wasn't a libertarian activist, but that does, it still was violence.
Right, he was.
And then there was the time
tangentially connected to.
Yeah, and then there was the time that the Robin Hooders were attacked. That happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
Is that what you were referring to, Dave?
No, there was a third one where someone actually was injured, but I can't remember. Oh, I think it was JP. And when
JP's not a libertarian.
Well, okay, fine. He's not a libertarian, but he's a supporter of our rights who takes action in support of our rights, and I think that was what he was doing when he was injured. It was about 2 years ago, if I recall.
I don't know. If JP claims he was injured, he may or may not be telling you the truth. I mean, JP tends to be
maybe not. No, maybe
an exaggerator.
Maybe the picture from the hospital.
But yeah, there are risks involved, obviously, in doing activism. Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. Thanks for the call. I mean, there's no guarantee that no violence will happen. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Book Club Radio.
Today we're chatting with Mike Papantonio, leading trial lawyer and prolific author. His latest novel, Law and Vengeance, is a non-stop, action-packed legal thriller. We spoke with him about the book and the real-life issues that inform and inspire his writing.
I think the fiction is easier because the stories kind of tell themselves. Because of what I do. Now, it may, if I didn't do what I did for a living and I said, well, let me imagine what happens with a whistleblower. Let me imagine what happens when a pharmaceutical company kills people with a dangerous pharmaceutical. Let me imagine what happens when a mega corporation pollutes an entire waterway for 300,000 people. Let me imagine that. It's tough to imagine. But it's very easy to write when you're actually in the middle of that and you're experiencing what's happening firsthand. When you write a fiction book and it's based on reality, it just seems to very often write itself.
On the heels of the critically acclaimed legal thriller, Law and Disorder, comes Law and Vengeance, the latest novel from famed trial attorney Mike Papantonio. Law and Vengeance follows the law firm of Bergman Dichotomus, who is now in the crosshairs of a weapons manufacturer. But this is not a law firm that plays by all the rules. Based on a real case, Law and Vengeance, the riveting new legal thriller by Mike Papantonio, is available wherever books are sold.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and you can Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. MyPillow.com, code FTL. That's how you get your MyPillow at half off or 2 for the price of 1. What's the MyPillow? Well, it may very well be
the best thing ever.
Yeah, it may very well be the best, at the very least, the best pillow you'll ever use. And you get to try it out. Very low risk. You can, if for whatever reason you don't like it, you can send it back. Within the first 60 days, you send it back to them, you'll get your purchase price back. You go to mypillow.com, code FTL, gets you the discount. But that's not all. You can also wash your MyPillow and put it in the dryer, which is amazing, which I've never seen pillows that can do that. And I've done it once with mine just to make sure that it works. It had been a year, and I was like, all right, probably should go ahead and wash this thing. It wasn't smelling bad or anything like that. I just thought, let's try out the wash and dry thing. And it worked great. And it fluffed it back up after it came out of the dryer and everything.
Yeah, so I should do that with mine.
Try it out. MyPillow.com, code FTL. You get it. If you like it and you keep it, then feel good because it's guaranteed to last you for 10 years. So MyPillow.com, code FTL. Let's continue here. You can bring up whatever you want. Still to come, we've got the rest of the story from Chris. Chris Wade is with us from thinkpenguin.com about terms of service. Is it something where you can actually face criminal charges for violating terms of service? You're going to tell us more about that. But first, Sarah is with us, listening in Albuquerque. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Oh, I got put on right away. I can't believe it. Okay.
It's that easy That's why we always take your call at 9:30, because most of the time you're the only one who's on at 9:30 Eastern time. Now I realize it's not quite 9:30, but generally Sarah will call between 9:20 and 9:30.
Yes.
And it's a sad statement, but even though we're a nationally syndicated talk radio show, at 9:30 at night on most nights, Sarah, you're the only person who wants to talk to us. So thanks.
That's because she loves us.
Yeah, I guess at some level, even though she doesn't agree with us and she's a communist. I mean, I do appreciate your calls.
Oh, yeah, especially tonight. I always like to bring up something very important that affects
To you, at least.
our health today.
Okay.
I've been learning that most of our health problems now comes from the fact that we're missing the special sugar from vine ripened fruits and vegetables. They have their special names, and it's missing from our diet.
What's the sugar called? Fructose, or what is it?
No, I don't know that they have I think there's a complete of 16 different types of sugar. So I don't really have all of their names down, but those sugars actually surround all of our cells. So after the amino acid, the protein, after that, the outer cell is surrounded by these cells, and what's happening is that our killer cells are misreading the healthy cell as effective cells, and it's destroying them. That's the problem. Like rheumatoid arthritis is our killer cells attacking a healthy cell.
See, now, you look at life a different way than I do. I see people living longer than ever and living healthier, more active lives than ever. We have a greater abundance of different things that we can eat. People who have problems eating certain things have more options now than they've ever had, and I just don't see the world in the same light of, oh my God, it's doomsday. We're not all eating the same thing.
But you probably also didn't watch whatever scary documentaries she stumbled across on Netflix.
She doesn't have Netflix. Come on, Darryl, you should know better than that.
But like there are these scary documentaries that come across on Netflix and other stuff to where
your food is poison.
Unless you're only eating a raw food diet, you're going to die of ass cancer.
There's chemicals in the air. Sarah, what did you get this information from? Was it NPR? You like to listen to them.
Well, actually, I'm not supposed to promote. There is these companies that not supposed to mention their names, but they
let me guess, they've got a product that they're trying to sell people.
That's correct. But I'm not going to mention their name or anything like that, because I'm not allowed to do that. Because they've been banned from doing that.
Who's been banned? Wait. Hold on. You don't just get to gloss over that. What did they ban you? How did this mystery company ban you from saying who they are publicly?
Well, the pharmaceuticals or the doctors, this product was curing cancer and, like I said, all of these autoimmune diseases.
See, when she said banned, I thought she, had somehow accidentally listened to the show and known that we've told people don't promote your stuff. This isn't Free Plug Live.
I thought she was gonna. I thought she might have been become a distributor for the product, and they won't allow you to talk, promote on the radio what the product.
Right. There are certain things to where that's
I
part
thought she
of
got
their
sued
user.
or something. She's not allowed to say.
That's correct. I mean, I guess you could. It is done by consumer direct marketing, like Melaleuca or Amway.
One of those. Okay, so those aren't direct marketing. Those are considered network marketing companies, and they usually. So, let me see if I'm following you here. Somebody in a network marketing company gave you a pitch on a product and told you all this stuff about scary fruit, the sugars, and how you should be scared that you're not getting them.
Right. Well, found in vine ripened fruits and vegetables, and what they do is they just take these fruits and vegetables and then they dry them.
But is that what happened? I just want to make sure I'm understanding you, Sarah. Is that what happened? You went to a business presentation about a network marketing company that has a product that's supposedly going to give people vine ripened fruits or some sort of extract from them?
The sugars that we are missing from our diet, because the tomatoes.
She's not answering my question. She's just going into the sales pitch. Like, are you a distributor for this product?
Is it balance of nature?
I'm going to,
God.
Well, the thing is, I want to try a bottle.
Did you just go look it up or something?
I've been searching on Google for vine-ripened stuff, and at first I was trying to find news articles, and then I was like, screw it, let me just do a search.
Just type in the word opportunity afterwards, and then you find out about our business opportunity. Look, Sarah, can you stop? Can you stop it with the sales pitch here? I mean, I've been trying to ask you a question. I'm going to give you one more chance to answer it. But I don't need to hear the sales pitch anymore because, first of all, I'm not going to buy the product. And like you said, you can't even tell us what it is anyway. So.
Well, the thing is, you won't let me answer the question.
You haven't answered the question. You just keep telling me about the scary sugars.
Right. So the question, and I'll reword it because maybe you didn't understand when Ian asked. So the information that you received, did you go to a network marketing seminar or just somebody that was sitting next to you on the bus said, hey, did you know that you're missing this stuff from vine-ripened fruit?
Well, the thing is, I have a sewing teacher. She teaches me how to, alter clothes. Well, I've known her for 12 years.
And she told you about this.
And she's a distributor?
Right.
She's a distributor?
Yeah, and she is. Yeah,
is she going to try to sign you up?
No.
Because you don't have enough money. Thanks for the call tonight, Sarah. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want here. This is Free Talk Live. Talk about network marketing if you've got experience.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Not true. Actually, you are what you can absorb. So if the vitamins and supplements you now take are not being absorbed, what good are they? Introducing Protovite, proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Then call 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
I done forgot your name, but we had 9/11, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, if they weren't here, could it have happened?
Could what have happened? If who wasn't here? How wasted are you? That's what I want to know.
No, sir. No, I'm not wasted.
Okay.
No, please just listen to me.
Okay.
If the people weren't here that drove the planes into the Twin Towers,
yeah, right? They flew them. They didn't drive them, but okay.
No, I'm not saying that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because now you
wow.
Yeah. I gotta think a minute.
That's all right. We got nothing but time.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves by dialing toll-free at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio here tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
Of course, you can bring up whatever you want. We've got more on the terms of service. You want to talk about some detailed terms of service? Try joining a network marketing company. Boy, do they have a lot of restrictions on the things you can and can't do. I know this because I was involved in one of them.
Well, and not even network marketing, but just an affiliate program.
That too, yeah. With Amazon, for instance, they broke up with us last week, earlier this week. I think
a couple days ago, probably.
It was the very beginning of this week when that happened. Terms of service, I want to get back into that, but just first, just a few words for Sarah, who I'm sure is not listening because she never does, but to other people, maybe young people out there or older folks. I think by the time you're probably in your 20s or 30s, you've probably been pitched on some kind of network marketing thing, likely by somebody. I mean, have you guys have both?
I saw it, but I don't think I've ever been pitched on.
Nobody ever pitched you on one.
Oh, actually, I take that back.
Amway, Quickstar, so many of these.
There was one telephone thing that.
Also, there's a bunch of them that are like cryptocurrencies too. So you got to look out. Like, network marketing is not necessarily bad. Just to be clear, like, I don't want, because I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like yelling at the radio, like, "Oh, network marketing is no." You're right. It's not necessarily bad. It's just that there have been a lot of companies over the years who
OneCoin is one of the cryptos.
Yeah, look out for that one. That isn't even really, as I understand it, even a cryptocurrency. It's just a straight up pyramid Ponzi scheme. So there's a lot of this stuff out there. Programs that purport to get you rich quick. Just find 3 people to find 3 people to find 3 people. That kind of thing.
Right.
And there are a lot of reasons why network marketing doesn't do what it promises to do for a lot of people. Certainly, people who are good at sales are going to be better at doing something like network marketing. Because sales is kind of a very lucrative profession. If you're good at selling things, if you're good at cold calling, if you're good at that, then you can do all right.
Just make a list of every person that you've ever contacted ever in life and start calling them.
Start alienating them. Yeah. You're joking. That's, for those that don't know, that's a joke that references what they ask you to do when you join a network
That's
marketing
basically
company.
what they ask you to do.
Correct. And so the idea is you go through all your friends and family first, because in theory they might be more likely to listen to you. But of course the reality is they actually know that you're full of crap, and they're not going to listen to you. You're probably better off pitching whatever it is to total strangers. But you see network marketing everywhere, and to some extent it can work, right? Like, so Tupperware, for instance, started with network marketing. I don't know if it was back in the 60s or 70s or whenever it was, but that's how they got as well distributed. If when you were growing up in the 80s, if your mom had Tupperware in the kitchen, she got that through some network marketer.
Right. Tupperware parties.
Correct.
were actually a thing. And then Avon, a lot of Avon wound up. The Avon calling was, a door-to-door sales sort of thing, which is basically network marketing.
Well, door-to-door sales can be direct sales, which doesn't involve the network marketing aspect to it. So network marketing, the difference between direct sales and network marketing is direct sales like Cutco. I don't know if Cutco Knives is one of them, but
Ginsu.
like Ginsu or these vacuum cleaner companies where these people are door-to-door salesmen. They typically aren't pitching a business opportunity alongside of the product. They just want to sell you a knife or they just want to sell you a vacuum. That means that they are just getting paid a direct sale, one-level commission on that product.
Right.
With a network marketing, they pitch not only the product that would have whatever it happens to be, whether it's one of these superfood things
Essential oils seems to be a really popular thing
I bet
nowadays.
that's one of them too, yeah. So there's all kinds of different products. So they pitch their product, but then they also want to recruit you into the business. They want you to join up as a distributor.
Amway's probably the most well-known example here. Hey, so I'm going to place an order through Amway, and if you order the mega bulk pack of toilet paper, then you get 25 points, and you only need like 44 points, and then you can start making money yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
So why don't you just go ahead and buy the, this large tub of ketchup that'll last you for the rest of your life. But if you buy 2 of them, sell one to like your grandmother, and then you'll wind up earning points on that as well.
No, better yet, get grandma to join, because if she joins, then she can buy $100 worth of product every month, and then you make money on that, and she can make money by recruiting her friends from the Bridge Club.
Yes. I was just going to mention the Bridge Club because that's what grandmas do, allegedly.
You've got to be so desperate.
Yeah, my grandma has never gone to a Bridge Club, ever.
Well, but, it's not necessarily that people are desperate. It's just that, well, I guess to some extent they do want a way out, right? People want a way out of the rat race.
Right.
And this is...
it sounds good of, hey, come to this seminar, and there's some guy that's like, all right, so you want to know what I did last weekend? Slideshow. Here's me on a yacht. In Bermuda. And then the next day, slideshow. That's me in the Bahamas. Slideshow. Yeah, that's me in Cozumel.
Yep,
Click.
that's right.
That's me at the ruins in Peru.
All because I found 3 people who found 3 people.
This is me climbing the pyramids of Giza. And, I did this because I have 3 friends that have 3 friends, and you've got 3 friends, right? Everybody has 3 friends. If you don't have 3 friends, you're a loser. You've got 3 friends. So just sign right here, and then that guy winds up getting commission on everybody that signs up at that meeting because, well, like the person that hosted the meeting was like his 27th downline.
Oh man. It reminds me of All Advantage.
Oh, the old, wasn't that an advertising thing on the internet? Yeah. I remember that.
So that
was where you got paid supposedly to look at advertisements.
I participated in this, and so there was a way to make money, but it wasn't really honest.
Oh, God.
And basically, there were these tools that would make you the whole program was kind of creepy and dishonest.
Did you create a script?
No, it's just this program that you ran, and it would create sub-accounts of sub-accounts of sub-accounts. And because it was a pyramid marketing kind of scheme, you actually would make money. So...
then you would violate the terms of service and the Computer Fraud Act.
That's okay, because I was underage anyway.
Okay, there you go. Now, how much did you make at your peak?
Oh, it wasn't that much. It was...
You got like a $5 Amazon card.
I don't really remember how much it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it did add up. But it was still.
Let me go to John in Philly. He's on the line here. John, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
I was just calling in. You guys had just mentioned getting dropped by Amazon. I was wondering, did that affect LRN.FM network as a whole, or was that just you guys?
The LRN Amazon also was the same thing. So it was just a different. So Amazon.LRN.FM went to the same place. So all went to the same place. So all of that is not working anymore. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. But if you want to buy at Amazon and help Free Talk Live or LRN, you can do that by going to saveatpurse.com, saveatpurse.com. Then you can save, like I just did, 25% on the most recent item I purchased through Amazon. Everything okay there? It sounds like sirens in the background. They're coming for you, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm actually on my break from work, and there's a fire truck going by.
That's
sorry
all right.
about that.
No problem. Man.
I thought it was just like some nasally breathing, like you had something locked up in your nasal cavity.
So now we have a Walmart affiliate program, which we actually had for the last few years, but nobody ever went to it because we never promoted it. But it's there now, so you can go to walmart.freetalklive.com and buy stuff, and then that helps us too.
Okay, cool. And then I know the Dash is one of your sponsors, so I was wondering if you guys could first, how's Dash then different than Bitcoin, and how's it going to avoid? I mean, how is it better? How does it avoid these problems that Bitcoin's going through with the several forks and the fork that's coming up?
Excellent question.
Finally, I was just wondering if you guys could literally just say what the NAP is, just for people that really don't know what it is, that are listening.
That's the non-aggression principle. NAP stands for non-aggression principle. And we did actually discuss that a lot earlier tonight, but basically that you don't use aggression or aggressive force or the threat of it to achieve your political or social goals. But hang on, John, if you want to stick with us. There's more coming up here. Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Kiyosaki, Rogers, and Schiff all concur there's an economic calamity that'll be facing this country. My question to you is, do you know when, and are you prepared? Most people don't, but my friends over at Republic Monetary Exchange have been leading experts in precious metals to help you offset the coming economic collapse. Right now, for a limited time, they have a free book called The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. You simply need to give them a call at 888-772-2929 to get that in your hands. Do not allow the insiders to do what they did to you in 2008, putting your IRAs, 401ks, and savings in jeopardy. You need this book, and you need it now. The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. Call 888-772-2929. That's 888-772-2929. There's a reason that the largest investment banking company in the world, JP Morgan, just purchased another 50 million ounces of silver. This free book will explain it. 888-772-2929.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into their rally.
Walk with me.
Well,
I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and by listening to this broadcast, you agree to our terms of service, which state that if you change the channel, the federal government will come after you with prison time. We actually haven't gotten into the story here that we started the show
and
with.
that's actually not part of our terms of service.
No, I'm joking. We don't have any terms of service. We don't believe in that crap. But you can bring up anything you want here on Free Talk Live. It's actually been a really good show here tonight with some great calls. Not the usuals tonight, except for Sarah. But it's nice to hear from some different voices.
Yeah, it was a nice selection of callers.
So we're going to get back into your calls and thoughts. But by the way, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, you like what we're doing here, you can become an amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month or Bitcoin, and you can do it via PayPal, credit card, or Bitcoin. And so you send the $5 a month in. If it's credit card or PayPal, it's automatic. And then we'll take that money in and we'll invest it into Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations around the country and bring new internet listeners on board, expose new people to the ideas of freedom. So if you like freedom and you like what we're doing on Free Talk Live, then please become an amplifier. Get the perks that you get as an amp, which includes the AMP-only Facebook group, AMP-only call-in lines, AMP-only podcast, which for those of you who may be unaware, we had to do some changes with the AMP-only podcast. I did send an email about that. So if you've noticed your AMP podcast isn't working, you ought to check your email if you are on the AMP-only email list, and you should be. If you're an amplifier, that's one of those sort of default things that you get as your perks. Check the email for the new link to the new AMP-only podcast. Anyway, go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up there. And as I say, it's $5 a month, and it makes a big difference for us when you do that. ampamp.freetalklive.com. Thanks in advance for that. John is in Philadelphia. You've called to ask about Dash and how it's different from Bitcoin, because there's all this drama in the Bitcoin world where the Bitcoiners have been fighting over the direction of, how Bitcoin should grow and grow to the demand that is put on it in the marketplace. So you were wondering how Dash is different right now and how Dash could handle any kind of potential conflict like that. Is that right?
Right, and also just how is it more private, I guess, than Bitcoin? And I can go ahead and take my answer off the air.
All right, John, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. So the privacy of Dash, I would say, is probably not the best privacy from what I understand. I'm not a cryptographic expert, but as I understand it, they've just basically done built-in mixing into Dash, so it's more private if you choose the option for the private send, is what it's called. So that's not on by default. That's something that you can opt into. If you're looking for true privacy, I think probably Zcash would be one of the best options, or Monero.
Also, Zencash, which is different from Zcash, but also uses
zero-knowledge proofs.
As I understand it, those zero-knowledge proofs.
Right.
But also the question was, how is Dash different? Well, it's a completely different cryptocurrency. So Dash...
it was based on Litecoin, which was based on Bitcoin.
Right.
So it ain't that different, but it's faster.
Okay, well, a Nissan Xterra was, designed after something that...
The Model T, right? Yeah.
Right. So, but it's on a completely different blockchain.
Correct.
Which is what I mean when I say it's a different thing. So
it didn't fork from Bitcoin's
the Dash
blockchain.
network does not rely on Bitcoin still existing.
That's correct.
Just like Litecoin does not rely on Bitcoin existing or any of these other things.
Dash is faster because it was built on Litecoin. It's actually, I believe it's even faster than Litecoin.
And Dash also has the instant send option to where you can include a slightly higher mining fee.
That's
or whatever
correct.
they wind up calling their thing, and then it's confirmed like that
instantly.
And the way governance decisions especially when using something like Shapeshift to convert it to Bitcoin, because you want that to go through fairly quickly.
Sure.
The way governance governance decisions are made is a completely different
That's one of the more
setup.
interesting aspects, I think, of Dash, and I think what really kind of makes it unique, at least it seemed like the first one to really catch on to do something like this.
Right.
I'm sure there are a dozen others that have adopted similar governance structures where
right there is the core thing.
where the people who are well, actually, I guess anybody can make a proposal to the Dash network, and then the Dash masternodes, which are the people who have over 1,000 Dash in
10,000
locked up. No, it's 1,000.
I thought it was 10,000.
No, it's 1,000.
Okay, they must have lowered it.
Maybe it was 10,000 in the earlier days when Dash was like 10
5
cents each or something like that. But now Dash is close to $300 a piece or $280 or something like that. I haven't looked today, so I don't know what it is. But it's much more expensive, and so it's not a cheap thing to become a masternode these days.
Correct.
But those masternodes are the ones who get to vote on the proposals.
About 324.
Thank you. As far as what to do with Dash and the Dash that's being mined, because another difference between Bitcoin and Dash is the mining sort of distribution. So when Bitcoins are mined into existence, then the miners get all the Bitcoins. So they get, I think it's 12.5 Bitcoins per block that get mined today.
Right now.
Today. That changes over time. It used to be 25, and then it was 50 before that. So it's the mining rewards are halving over a certain time frame.
Correct.
In Bitcoin. In Dash, I don't know what the halving, I don't know about all the technical sides of mining.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
But I know the mining rewards in Dash are distributed differently. So I believe it's 45% of the rewards go to the miners. 45% of them go to, oh boy, I'm spacing on where the other 45% go to, but I know 10% goes into, 45% goes to the masternodes. So 45% goes to the miners, 45% goes to the masternodes, 10% goes into like a promotional kitty, basically, where the 10% of the mining rewards gets like built up, and then the proposals come in for, I think that you should spend all this Dash on sponsoring Free Talk Live, or I think that you should spend this Dash on hiring a company to make a new point of sale system for Dash, or
we should wind up painting a competitive airplane in blue and white and putting Dash on the wings, which actually was a proposal that wound up getting funded.
I think it was influenced by the old Doge race car from back in the day when Dogecoin fanatics put their money up to do a Doge paint job on a race car.
Right, and then the Doge people also wound up paying for the Jamaican bobsled team to make it to, I think it was the Sochi Olympics.
So that 10% is different, because I think that's one of the most important aspects of why Dash is as successful as it is, because they have a built-in marketing budget that's directed by the users, the people who have a stake in Dash, not just any schmo. Has 1,000 Dash, right? So the people who have the biggest stakes in Dash can make decisions as far as basically the marketing budget for the thing. Whereas with Bitcoin, you got Roger Ver out there with Bitcoin.com throwing his own money at promoting Bitcoin, but he's just doing that because he bought a lot of Bitcoin when it was cheap, and he has a lot of it to throw around.
Right.
So you're relying on the generosity of individuals to spend, whereas with Dash, it's programmed in every 10% of every block, or 10% of every block is going into this promotional budget. Now you guys decide how to spend it. And I think that's an interesting way to kind of run a currency. But as far as could Dash split and have a big disagreement? I suppose it could. I don't know if there's anything to prevent that.
Any cryptocurrency could wind up splitting.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any way to prevent that, but it would seem that with the governance structure at least in place, at least they have a way to make decisions within the system. Whether that's going to work out in the long run, I don't know.
Transparent, and where more people have a say instead of just a small group of miners
and a small group of programmers. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, whether that's going to work out in the long run for Dash, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting approach. It's a different approach. Is it going to result in it being Bitcoin's killer? I can't say for sure.
And
I don't know.
Now, one thing to point out, where you did say, anybody can make a proposal for what to do with this 10% thing.
That's right.
You do
have
to
a bunch
throw
Dash.
some Dash at them of, here's money to hear my proposal.
And it's like a lot, too. Isn't it like 5 Dash?
5 Dash.
Yeah, so
and again, they're like
$325
right now.
Yeah. So it's got to be a big proposal. I mean, there's, I think, a strong argument to lower that amount to where more people can afford it. But I guess the argument there is if it's an expensive proposition, then that's going to limit the number of them.
But again, that number of 5, it's been 5 since
for a long time.
Dash was, $5.
Right, because when we first did our Dash proposal, it was $40 a Dash. So it was only like, $200 and something bucks to throw that in.
Really?
Back when it was $40 a Dash, yeah. So
40
5 Dash
times 5.
4. $200 worth of Dash. And so, yeah, Dash is interesting. Check it out at dash.org. Again, I don't know who the winner is going to be. I'm grateful that the Dashers are supporting the show.
Right, and asking us, who's going to be the winner in 20 years? Well, if you would have asked people in 1917, which car company is going to be the biggest winner in 100 years?
It may be something we haven't even seen yet. I mean, so who knows? I will say this, though, on my own volition, I did take some of the Shire Free Church Bitcoin and convert it into Dash, simply because I can't say for sure Bitcoin's going to stay on top forever, and I didn't want to have all the eggs in one basket. So we'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, you can join us over at freetalklive.com. Don't forget to check out Chris at thinkpenguin.com, and maybe we'll talk about this thing with the terms of services next week.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul, with discounts for